Chapter 5. Dickens and Joyce. The two circuits dialectic. That's why all parks up excited about his gunfather. That's why ecclesiastics, a ecclesiastics and crime minister preaching hymn mornings. James Joyce Finnegan's Wake. The gracious goddess and the terrifying giant haunt our legends and our literature. The fuck is this shit? Heresy in Paradox Lust. Heresy. Heresy. Huh. The shock and dismay of the infant when the harshness of traditional toilet training introduces the anal patchers second circuit values into the previously blissful oral mattress continuum is conveyed with great artistry in Dickens' David Copperfield. So, overt is what is this sequence? Indeed, that it is hard to believe it was actually written half a century before through clinical writings. Dickens describes an idyllic infanthood in which David lives with a widowed mother who can safely be characterized as a human embodiment of the Bonade, good goddess of the ancient, who lingers still as a very godmother in children's tales. Until this happy scene intrudes the horrible stepfather, Mr. Murdstone, whose Jehovah's complex makes him an avatar of the punishing Father God. There is no way of obeying all of Murdstone's rules. There are too many of them, and they are mostly unstated and implicit anyway. David undergoes some monumental lashing on the buttocks, for his own good, of course. Although Dickens emphasized in a quite Freudian way the obvious enjoyment Murdstone obtains from these sessions. Quite naturally, David begins to internalize this analysis system of values and imagines he is quite guilty little wretch and richly deserves this torture. Then Dickens inserts the volume scene when David returns from a year at school. I went in with quiet, timid step. God knows how infantile the memory might have been that was awakened in me, and at the sound of my mother's voice in the old parlor when I set foot in the hall. I think I must have laid in her arms and heard her singing to me when I was but a baby. The strain was new to me, but it was so old that it filled my heart brimful like a friend come back from a long absence. I believe from the solitary and thoughtful way in which my mother murmured her song that she was alone, and I went softly into the room. She was sitting by the fire, suckling an infant whose tiny hand she held against her neck. Her eyes were looking down upon its face, and she sat singing to it. I was so far right that she had no other companion. I spoke to her, and she started and cried out. But seeing me, she called me her dear Davy, her own boy, and coming halfway across the room to meet me, kneeled down upon the ground and kissed me, and laid my head down on her bosom near the little creature that was nestling there, and put its hands up on my lips. I wish I had died. I wish I had died then. with that feeling in my heart. I should have been more fit for heavens than I have ever been since. The dream of return to oral biosecurity is too overt to require commentary. Similarly, in Joyce's monumental novel of the mind of a man asleep, Finnegan's Wake, the Father and the Father God are always associated with war and excretions, as Joyce's scholar William York Tyndall has noted, as gone the further the terrifying animal monsters combine pistol, deity, and flatulence. As the Lord of Israel, he is the jealous, territorial Old Testament Lord of hosts, Aa of battles, his insignia, the 100-letter thunder word, which recurs 10 times in the dream, always combines fatherhood, menace, like a menace, defecation, and war. For instance, in its first appearance on a page 1, it is the fuck 7 fuck. Here you find Baba, Arabic father, phonetic Abba, Hebrew father, phonetic Cambron, the general who so appropriately said murder when asked to surrender the territory. Phonetic Gaelic, scan, crack of thunder of the anus, Roman German its expressions, the suggestive Orden, implying both Germanic metal failure and English order. The terrifying Father God elsewhere makes his maneuvers in open order and preaches all the anal authoritarian values. No gods before me. Thou shalt not commit idolatry. Love my neighbor like myself. He is the villain of the Garden Party. The Garden Party. The trickster god who set the baited trap in the Garden of Eden. The ego internalized in the toilet training party. The god of the thunder and wrath. God Din. Odin? I don't know. Fleeing him, the inhabitants of earth. I will seek his opposite. ALP, German Dream, also wrote the first letter in the Greek and Hebrew alphabet, Alpha and Aleph, the source, the beginning. Oh, Aleph. And Olivia Prulabella, when her name is written in full, she waters of life combines with all beautiful women. She is as oral and loving as the omnibus is anal and threatening. With a beak, with a spring, all her ringlets shaking, rock drops in her tashi, drum tokens in her hair, all wave to a point and then all inundation. Little old-fashioned mummy, little wonderful mummy, ducking under bridges, as happy the day is wet, babbling, bubbling, chattering to herself, to Luther in the field. This amniotic river woman is the perfect mother of infantile dream memory and the great goddess of ancient, the ideal biosurvival safe, warm place, and to her joys offers his most fervent prayer. In the name of Almazivur, the ever-living, the bringer of probabilities, hallowed to be her eve, her sing time soon, her real Biran, unhemmed as it is uneven. Humanity in Joy's view, as in Taylor, is forever leaving her to follow the hero, father, to the brutal, brutal fields of Waterloo, the battlefield of Waterloo with blood and excrement superimposed to reveal the annual territorial roots of war, and then returning temporarily chastened to list as it beeps us by the water of Babylon. In chapter 3, the Finnegans Wake, the offender, invaders, and the defenders, natives, get so thoroughly mixed up that all that remains is a composite fender who takes the blame for everybody. This cyclical view of history, whether it Joyce, Rather Taylor, Fico, George Soros, Hegel and Marx, etc., it's only part of the truth, but it needs to be stressed because it is the part that most people fearfully refuse to recognize. Whether we speak in terms of Taylor Matthews Patrick's dialectics, Fico's cycle of divine, heroic, and urbanized ages, the Marx Hegel trinity of thesis, antithesis, synthesis, or any variation thereon, we are speaking of a pattern that is real and that does repeat, but it only does so to the extent that people are robotized, trapped in hardwired reflexes, with accumulated facts, gimmicks, tools, techniques, and gadgets of neuroscience. The science of brain change and brain liberation reaches a certain critical mass, we will all be able to free ourselves from these robot cycles. It is the thesis of this book that we have been approaching that critical mass of for several decades now and will reach the crossover point faster than you expect. The current rampage of territorial emotional pugnacity sweeping this planet are not just another civilization falling, Vigovacian. They are birth pangs of a cosmic Prometheus rising out of the long nightmare of domesticated primate history. Of course, these are genetic or historical generalization which do not precisely match any specific family. The gracious goddess or hostile giant archetypes are not activated in cases where the mother is cold, rejecting, embittered, etc., and the father is the warm, supportive figure. The imprints on the first and second circuits are statistically defined in such families, and anything might result: a shaman, a schizophrenic, a genius, a homosexual, an artist, a psychologist, etc. Really? Huh. So the people that in that category is traumatized by the imprint, right? What the hell? Exercise. In terms of the theory so far developed, analyze the following characters. One Scarlett O'Hara, King Kong, Odysseus, Hamlet, Bugs Bunny, Portnoy, Leopold, Bohm, Richard M. Nixon, Thomas Jefferson, St. Paul, Donald Duck, Lago, Iago, Jane Eyre, Joseph Stalin, Joan of Arc, Timothy Leary, Aleister Crowley, the author, Mao. Carl Jung, The Secret Chiefs, Hannibal Lecter, Medieval. You. What does that even mean?